Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'm watching Why You Wouldn't Survive in Ancient Egypt by Chat History. I would assume that the reasons you wouldn't survive would be mainly disease, but also some stupid things like being sentenced to death for some petty crime which you probably didn't even commit, but they have no way to prove who did it. So they just said, yeah, you're the one who did it, and there you go, now you're dead. That's what I would assume. Link to the original video will of course be down in the description below.
Well, now you've done it. You fell down a weird witch's wormhole and landed yourself in ancient Egypt. So, can you survive? Let's find out.
Oh yeah, slavery. That might also just get you killed.
The first thing you might ask is, which ancient Egypt? Because the entirety of ancient Egypt spanned across several thousands of years with quite a few different eras. Let's go with, the iconic New Kingdom, the height of Egyptian power and influence, and the most documented for research purposes. How convenient. Since you made it to this video, I'm going to assume that you're not a literal mouth-breathing, knuckle-dragging, fragile infant. So you can give yourself a pat on your freshly whipped back, because you've already survived the hardest part. Childhood.
Childhood, yeah. Oh
wasn't
yeah.
easy. Since they didn't have any fancy beeping machines to hook moms up to and keep babies alive, infant mortality rates were extremely high.
Yeah, a lot of children died.
20 to
It's also why
50%
people had
of
so many
babies
children,
didn't
because
make it out
at
the
least
womb.
half of them would
If
die.
you survived being born, next up was surviving the world. Much harder. With things like disease, hunger, and other environmental factors out to get you, it's not going to be a stroll through Easyville.
Yep, disease.
I mean, some of these kids look so frail you could practically see their blinking health bar. Hang in there, guys. Oh, bummer. Your main duty as a kid is to help out the family that brought you into this world. We're talking chores, taking care of your siblings, protecting the farm, learning the family business, everything necessary for survival. As far as food, it's whatever mama and papa could scrape together, which is mainly bread, milk, fruits, and veggies. Ever have half an onion on dry bread with warm milk? It's actually pretty disgusting, but it's what keeps you growing.
Yeah,
because
I would assume it's
don't eat,
absolutely
well,
atrocious.
and hey, if your papa has a high enough fishing level, he could bring home a pretty sweet catfish to tear into. Get that protein. Your mother, assuming she survived slopping you out of her belly, would feed and care for your ungrateful
Yeah, the mother
ass.
could also
But none
die
of that is
during
applicable since
childbirth.
you just got orphaned by the space-time continuum. Before we take a look at what to do next, let's see where you would fit in the grand scheme of society, because
What did happen to orphan children? Were they just left to die? I assume that's the case, which is really messed up.
everyone has their place. Ancient Egyptian society worked in a hierarchy with rich and powerful guys at the top and everyone else at the not top. So really no change from the modern world.
Yeah, there's no change.
The head
That's
honcho
just
around
how it
these
is
parts
today.
is the pharaoh. He's
And
the
how it's
divine
been
king,
throughout
and whatever
all of
he
history.
says goes.
Subscribe.
Just under him are his closest bros and advisors. Then we have an educated and skilled middle class, and then a laboring lower class with slaves and servants at the bottom.
I'm surprised that the soldiers would be number 3 on the list. I expected them to be a bit lower than that.
Which were usually foreign prisoners of war. Since there's a 95% chance that you'd stick out like a turd in a punch bowl amongst a well-tanned, weird-talking population, you'd probably be captured and sold into slavery.
Yep.
Tough break, outsider. But let's assume you can convince the xenophobic guards that you're one cool dude. Hey, I'm one cool dude.
Yeah,
It
you don't
worked.
even speak
Time
the
to get a job.
language.
Since you can't speak Wingdings 3, you're gonna have to prove your worth through manual labor. Luckily, there's plenty of jobs to choose from like farming and... Over 90% of all ancient Egyptians were
Just
farmers,
farming.
so there's plenty of friends and rivals to be made. You know, see who could grow the best onions or whatever it is farmers did for fun, finger each other's cabbages, I don't know. But your absolute best friend is the Nile River, which is your #1 source of delicious brown water for your crops. Just don't taste test it.
Delicious brown water.
Thankfully, the application process to work on a farm is no more than moving a rock from here to there. And with your stellar gamer build, you can easily get the job done. Just remember to lift entirely with your back.
Yep.
As a bonus, you
Just
can
break
read
your back.
and write. Not in hieroglyphics,
That's good
but
for
in
survival.
cooler things like letters and numbers. Perfect for taking your own notes. You're hired. Now you can get to work and earn that bread. But since the Persians haven't invaded yet and introduced proper currency, you'll be working for literal bread. So you slave away for months on Bahir's family wheat farm, eating your brown bread and sandy beer dinners while sleeping on a filthy, crusty, dusty dirt floor. Watch out for snakes, they bite. Day in and day out, you swing your sickles and your hoes, dreaming about the hoes you left behind. taking extra caution not to get too distracted. Oh, looks like you cut off Bahir's arm. Bahir will remember that. It's then you look down and notice some squishing between your toesies.
Bahir's gonna kill you if he
Rather
doesn't
moist.
die.
Ah, the Nile's flooding. You say to no one. After you finish fighting off the invading river rats using your +7 strength copper sword, it's time to pause the farming grind and
River
try your
rats.
hand at construction while the Nile does its thing. Oh look, the Pharaoh wants you to help build a new pyramid. Lucky you.
Yeah, no
Since you
thank
have
you.
countless hours placing virtual cobblestone under your belt, this sounds like a pretty sweet gig. Just keep an eye out.
How
because
hard could it be
sometimes
in
it's
real
not
life,
yourself
right?
that you need to watch out for. Daily labor is just part of your worry though, because you still have
Diseases.
diseases, like slaves, are the hot and trending collectible at the time. You could even trade them to your friends if you're feeling generous enough. I got trachoma. Pfft, well, I've got first edition smallpox. Check it out. With your 21st century wrinkle brain, you know that you need to keep
They're
clean
both
to prevent disease. So you
disease
take a
now.
dip in the Nile to wash your many crevices. Just downstream of the laundry, which is downstream of the town's dumping grounds. Uh-oh, looks like you picked up
Just
a
don't
friend.
go into
A
the
parasitic
Nile.
flatworm went and crawled up your roundworm. And now, you have schistosomiasis. With that comes a fever and aggressive diarrhea.
Oh,
and
no.
since we're in ancient times, you know what that means.
No
But little
cure.
wriggling worms aren't the only threats you face. Like the infected fellas a minute back found out, there were many different diseases sickening up the land. The most popular being tuberculosis, smallpox, and malaria. These guys would make sure that your stay in ancient Egypt would be a quick one, so be sure to swat some skeeters and tell your neighbors to cover their coughs for Ra's sake. Oh, sorry, I thought that there was a mosquito on you. Yeah, you too. Anyway, you get back to chiseling some sandstone blocks and, oh, looks like you caught Pharaoh checking out the goods. He admires your strong physique, attention to hygiene, and glistening back sweat. He even heard about your conquering of the
no.
river rats, and he's impressed. Those are some good qualities. Good qualities for a soldier. You just got bumped up a few societal ranks. Look at you go. Oh, Pharaoh wants to expand his empire. Well, now your promotion
Oh,
makes sense.
so you're gonna go die now.
Time to go to war. Being a soldier can't be too hard, right? You just pick up a shield and a sword and swing it a little. After all, people are just bigger rats. Oh, sweet, they even have the cool curved swords.
Curved swords.
It's called a khopesh, and boy does it hurt. But if swinging a sword ain't your style, you could opt for something a little less slashy.
spear
and a
would
little
be
bit
more effective.
stabby. If you want to poke someone further away, but still want to be close enough to revel in their death, I recommend a spear or javelin. If you really have the urge to stab someone at least a few thousand scarabs away, go for the simple and sweet bow and arrow. It never fails.
Yeah, now try and hit
Unless you
somebody.
miss. Alright, time to step onto the sandy battlefield and fight for a country you just fell into. The enemies of the day are the Sea Peoples. No one really knows who they were, and they most likely came from somewhere north of the Mediterranean. But Pharaoh don't give a good gosh dang. They've been flaunting their stupid looking boats and shit for the last time.
Fuck you, Egypt.
Oh, it's so on. Now, the first thing you're gonna want to do is... Ah, damn. Alright,
Not
let's try
die.
it again. Respawn. Okay, quick time dodge the arrow. Fire your own. Ooh, nice shot. Good arc, stable flight.
It's gonna miss.
Ugh, right on target. Good job murdering that guy with absolutely no complex backstory or family that he was fighting to protect from invaders. To him, you were the bad guy. But hey, war is hell, isn't it? You keep popping off shots and taking out numerous expendable enemy NPCs. While you continue to just riddle the battlefield with arrows, you notice something in your peripheral. Not something.
Oh, it's
someone.
him. He's back.
Hey, Bahir. Didn't know you were a soldier. Oh, thank God.
Betrayal.
It was just a dream.
Yeah, your chances of surviving in ancient Egypt are incredibly low. It would probably be a better idea to just go someplace really tall and jump head first. It would be a far better solution than trying to survive in these conditions, especially if you do become a soldier. Because let's say you get captured by the enemy. Not sure if they actually did take POWs back in these times, but I mean, I assume they would try and get some information from them, I don't know. And of course, how do you get information from POWs? You torture them. You can't do that anymore, but back then you could, because there was no such thing as rules in war. If you catch a disease, especially a deadly one, you might as well also just jump and end your life, because you're not surviving, because there is no medicine, and your body probably can't take it. And given how terrible the living conditions are, your chances of catching a deadly disease are pretty high, so you might as well take yourself out before that even happens. If you ever somehow find yourself in ancient Egypt, just end your life immediately. It will spare you a lot of pain and suffering. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider leaving a like, subscribing. Check out this video right here if you're interested. And with that, I hope I'll see you in the next video.